Here, and I asked you a question before the program started. I said, were you surprised by Tuesday's results? And your answer to me was surprising. What did you say?
No, I wasn't surprised at all.
No, you said something else.
I was happy.
Wow. Okay. So take it from there, Dr. Jones.
It's all you. And I was happy for different reasons than Trump supporters. Obviously, I'm not a Trump supporter. But I was happy because I understand the history of our people. I understand our current condition. Look, I think God has been trying to give black people a message.
Yeah.
And black people have refused to listen. God has sent black people messengers. Black people have refused to listen. If you talk about serious black intellectuals in this country, serious black thinkers, serious black political scientists and historians and sociologists, serious black ministers, we've been telling black folk for years what's going on. But black people are hope addicts.
Ooh, say that again. Woo! That's a hashtag.
Wow. Hope addicts.
Black people are hope addicts. And as Toni Morrison said, a very real consequence of racism is it distracts you.
Yeah.
And black people are subject to distractions very easily. If Kamala Harris had won, and let me say this and it'll upset you, a person who, if you study, remember, I'm a political scientist, been studying politics every day of my life for almost 40 years now.
Wow.
If you look at the sisters' record, there is no consistent commitment to black people. That's just the reality. And I know some folks, like when she went to Howard, she's an AKA, all of this stuff, there has been no consistent commitment to black people. There's certainly been political opportunism, there's been shifting of positions, all of these things. But that, and all the politicians do that, I understand that. So black people are also very prone to making excuses for black people who have not been committed to them. All that said, she certainly was better than the other person, the guy on the other side, because he's a madman. A committed white supremacist that's pretty much in the open, committed fascist, if you study what fascism is, all of these things. But my concern, I said it before the election, the greatest concern is not that you can make a viable comparison of Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, Mobutu, all of these people. It's very real that you can make a viable comparison of 21st century America to 20th century Germany right after World War I.
Wow.
So there's all this talk about what Donald Trump has done. This isn't about Donald Trump, right? Hitler didn't con the Germans. They supported him.
Whoa.
Donald Trump has not conned white America. They simply support him. And this was a brazen example, brazen proof to black folk that this is what America is. If Kamala Harris had won, you would have been subjected to more distractions. White supremacy would still exist. They still be coming at black people in myriad ways, but black people who are hope addicts, you would have did the same thing you did in 2008 when Barack Obama won. I saw black people in 2008, because Barack Obama won, black people say, oh, racism is dead. This proves we can do anything we want to do. We're now in a post-racial America. In the very next year, the Tea Party hit. The very next year, basically, neo-Ku Klux Klan ideology started to take hold in this country more and more openly. White people are becoming more aggressive. I have one constituency, one. Black people. I was told at the University of Louisville, we can't let you be the diversity officer. The word is that you only care about black folk. This is true. It's not that I wish anybody else any harm, but I very openly care about my people because so few others do.
Wow.
All this black-brown coalition y'all been on, Hispanics have let you know with their votes. All this white women are on our side, they've let you know with their votes. All this is getting better, and I think white America is learning after 2020. They've let you know with their votes. So if you would have had Kamala Harris, black people would have had another excuse to not fight back. because you would think things are getting better. So I know you're in pain right now, but you shouldn't be. You should be encouraged that we may be at a moment now where black people will finally unite, turn around, fight back.
Wow. Let me just say this. I was getting too anxious watching the results, and so Wednesday morning I go on my phone, and when I saw that he won, one of the things that bothered me the most was my daughter came in the room because she was very invested in this race, and she was like, what happened? What happened? Who's the president? She's 10 years old. And I was crying by then. And when I told her, she started crying and saying that she doesn't want to be treated differently because she's black. A 10-year-old has that foresight, knowing that with him being the president, racial relations are going to be going back. And so what do you speak to that fear that we're going to be going back to those days, the 2016?
No, Walt. America was exactly what it was on November 6th, the day after the election, as it was on November 4th, the day before the election. Stop lying to your children. Because when you lie to your children or lie to yourselves and give yourselves false hope, you send your children into a white supremacist world unarmed. You owe them better than that. My child didn't cry at all. Did y'all really believe that white America was going to come out and vote for a black woman, no matter how milquetoast that black woman might be? Did you really believe that? They would have voted for the devil himself before they did. In effect, they did. So there was a time when Marcus Garvey would bring the Ku Klux Klan into UNIA meetings and say, tell my people exactly what you feel about them so they can know and they can't make excuses. Right? Martin Luther King Jr. went down to Albany, Georgia in 1961, but Laurie Pritchett was a softer, smarter sheriff, and he handled things in a more complex way. And King and his people knew that they had to go to Birmingham where they run into a Bull Connor who would be more overt with his racism. So King knew then our people can see exactly what's happening here. Black people didn't want to fight back in the 50s. And then they killed Emmett Till, and it turned everything around. Vernon Johns was rejected in Montgomery because folks thought that he was too radical. King came to pastor his church. And then Emmett Till was killed. That started the civil rights movement. So please wake up. Take inventory where you are. If you are happy in Louisville, black folk, ain't nothing for you to do. If you cool with your situation of powerlessness, ain't nothing for you to do. But if I come tell you how they're treating our children and our people at the University of Louisville, for example, that they're taking scholarships that used to be set aside for black children and they no longer can be set aside for black children. Listen to me. If I tell you they're losing black faculty to teach our children and they don't care nothing about building that back up, listen to me. If I tell you there's a diversity office headed by a black man who is giving marching orders to his people to never specifically mention black people, listen to me. And if you don't want to listen to that, then continue to do what you do, ignore what's happening to black folk there, and go cheer for University of Louisville basketball. And go cheer for football. And the white folks will say, these Negroes are not a threat. So take Tuesday. So it's not just about U of L. Stop following black politicians who do not have the heart or the inclination to fight for you. Right? You're not just tolerating them, you're celebrating them. So if that's where you are here in Louisville, then be there and be happy with it. But don't lie to yourself and don't lie to your children. Get some heart, fight back, because at this point, if you haven't gotten the message that God is giving you, I don't know what will make you get it. So no, I wasn't sad, I wasn't surprised. I was happy that maybe we have another historical moment where our people will understand that all we got is us, and if we don't organize, strategize, and fight back, we're done for our children's sake.
So I know that is, well, and wow, just hearing it, I mean, it brings it back full circle to what we need to do as a people. But I'm asking you, Dr. Jones, what now? How can we do this? What's next for us? What can we do? What can we do?
I've been in this town for 28 years and been writing for all 28 of them. Go read some of the stuff I've written. Everybody keeps saying, well, what do we do? I've been telling you for 28 years. I get tired of repeating myself. Revolutionaries read. Start there. Okay, start there. Maybe we need to sit down and have some sessions, if you really want to fight back, some extended sessions where we can stop submitting to serving and entertaining white folk and getting upset when they disrespect us and being afraid to tell them exactly what they're doing. And if you're a white person watching this and this don't apply to you, great. Welcome to the party. And to black folk who've been making excuses for themselves to not fight for black men, black women, and black children, welcome to the party. And if not, just admit that you're a coward, step aside and let the real black folks sit here and do something. Because Kamala Harris wasn't going to save you. And so now you're not going to be distracted into thinking that she was.
Listen, we're almost out of time. Let me ask you this question real quick. I saw on social media that someone was explaining how already we're beginning to see what this presidency will bring, and some people that actually voted for him is going to be impacted. Talk about the tariffs, though. A lot of people are talking about the tariffs and how a lot of the supporters thought that the tariffs was going to be something other countries paid. It's going to impact small businesses.
I don't care. Right? I don't care. That's another distraction. Mm-hmm. Listen to what white folks are saying from MSNBC to CNN. It ain't just Fox. They want to talk about the economy. Oh, this was about the economy. Votes are voting for the economy. No, this was another reaffirmation of white supremacy. I'm not getting pulled into any talk about no tariffs. I don't care if that whole thing falls apart. Right? Y'all cannot be distracted by that foolishness. Ain't nobody saying that what this was about was white supremacy. It's just like in this state, this anti-diversity movement in the 8th whitest state in the country. White people have already won. What do they have to fight for? About anti-diversity. When they start talking about DEI, I'm like, no, I'm not talking about that with you. I'm talking about white supremacy with you. When they start talking, well, let's talk about the tariffs. No, let's talk about your racism. Don't get distracted. So I don't care what the tariffs do. I don't care if they deport all of these people. That's not my concern. I care about me and mine, and y'all are mine. Listen to God.
That's definitely a drop the mic moment. None other than Dr. Ricky Jones, and that's why our pastor wanted him to come today.
And listen to our pastor. He's been telling you to.
Well, Ricky, and then talk about, but you did say something, though, that we
Crystal, we out of time.
I know, but listen.
We out of time.
Listen, you was a special guest brought in from Rev. I think we got a little, just one more. You talked about how we are all we have. Talk about how black organizations and institutions like the black church are so important.
Look, you got to build black institutions, right? This is all about black power. It's what it's really about. You got to have a conception of black power. As you sit here in one of the two of the 50 largest cities in the country, they ain't never had a black mayor. Never had a black, Hispanic, or female mayor. Here in Louisville, Kentucky, and everybody's sitting back waiting. You got to understand where and what we are. So build Simmons. Simmons really is the best hope for black education moving forward in this city. Y'all gotta remember, I didn't go to Simmons. I'm a Morehouse man. I believe in black schools. I believe in black churches. I believe in black people. But let me qualify it. I believe in strong, dedicated black people. I do not believe in black people who are more concerned about individual positions than they are about collective power. So when I say take inventory of your educational leaders, the black ones. Take inventory of your black preachers. Take inventory of your black politicians. And some of them just might need to go. If you want to change. Now, like my grandmama said, she said, it seems to me that the white folks and the black folks in Louisville and in Kentucky is happy. Who is you, boy, to tell them that they ain't supposed to be? Now, if my grandmother is right, y'all are done. We are done here. but black people ain't done everywhere. If she is wrong, and if we have come to a different point in Louisville where you ready to do something different, then by God, do something different. So people are happy about the hospital. That's cool. But does that shift the racial power dynamics here? Those are the questions we got to ask. And stop listening to people who tell you, oh, I'm working behind the scenes. Things are better than you think. Or you got to do things the right way. You better stop listening to that. If y'all ain't going to listen now, I don't know when you will. Because they're coming for you, and they're coming for your children. Your daughter was crying. Mine wasn't. My kid was like, well, expected that. Let's go play volleyball.
Wow. Well, mic drop moment.
Now, I will stay for another hour, but the Rev's going to be back, and he's going to be preaching to you.
Look, Angela's about to have a fit.
Well, y'all give Dr. Ricky Jones another hand.
Look, they staying until they speak.
Absolutely.
Right.